What's good? Welcome to First Ring Podcast. On today's episode of First Ring Podcast, we will we will have a CWall on as well as Ben Strober. CWall will cover the latest and greatest news for the Washington Commanders. We'll review a little bit of what happened this weekend around the NFL. It is going to be a very, very abrupt version of First Ring Podcast. So I hope you all are ready, buckled in, and ready to go. And ready to go. You ready, Al?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. It started already. Um, okay, so CWall will be joining us in a moment, and so will Ben Strober. Al, I gotta say this, man. I gotta come right out with it.
Talk to me.
Mike Tomlin out, and now Sean McDermott is gone. How are you doing? Are you okay?
Man, I am, I'm all right. I mean, of course I'm all right. I mean, like I said, I'm disappointed for them. I mean, I'm definitely for Sean. I think Sean got a real raw deal. Mike, I think it was a mutual decision between him and the organization. I think this was the direction he wanted to go. I don't know if you had a chance to catch Rondé Barber's podcast. He's a good friend of, both good friend, definitely a real good friend of his. They travel a lot of, their families travel out of town together. And Rondé made mention on his podcast when the day, earlier last week that Mike had told him that this probably was going to be his last year coaching, and he would just hang up. So Rondé surprised he doesn't even expect Mike to come back. I actually do. I don't think Mike can sit on the sidelines at 53 years old too long, maybe a couple years. But I think he's too much. He's a born coach. He's a born teacher. He's a born coach, and I think it's too much in his genes at 53 to this, or if even 55, if he took a couple years off, to not do it. But Sean, I think, got a real raw deal. I think, Josh Allen didn't play his best game by any stretch. He played a very poor game. And I just, like I said, my question all the time when you replace a very good coach like he's done is, what are you going to replace him with?
Yep.
And that's my question. What is Buffalo going to be? And for some of the reports coming out, the Brian Daboll, which is another William Murray guy, of course, but I definitely don't understand that. I mean, the track record definitely doesn't seem that he's a better, he's a more offensive minded coach. And while I would understand him coming as a coordinator there potentially, I don't see him replacing Sean and having more success. But like I said, the old adage says, watch what you ask for, but you just might get it. So
just might get it. All right, now you know what time it is. It's time to go to
that Bowie TV girl, that girl from Bowie TV.
Yes, what PG County's own Bowie TV CEO extraordinary. You see her everywhere. Miss Candi CWall Wall is in the building. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing well. Hi, Tuesday.
Ow. Hello. Yes. Hello. Oh. Hey, Toothpick. Al. Hello.
Yeah.
What's that all about? Alvin. I should have said Alvin.
Yeah.
You call me Alvin. That is my born government. Yes, it is. You're right.
Right. Well, listen. CWall, since we talked last, we had some hirings as far as the offensive coordinator. We have our defensive coordinator in waiting, and then some additions to the offensive staff. Can you run down them for us?
Oh, the additions. Well, where was that the last time? David Blau, right?
David Blau. I think he had interviewed, so that's where he was the last time. So now he's starting to fill out his staff a little bit.
Oh, that's right. So, okay. All right. Yep. So that was 2 weeks ago. So then DJ Williams, Doug Williams' son, is now the quarterback's coach. Darnell Stapleton has been promoted to the offensive line coach. Shane Taub, I think that's how you say Shane's last name. My bad, Shane, if I got it wrong. I believe is assistant O-line coach. Then there were some other promotions along the way with that, and then with the addition of Doug Williams Jr. of DJ joining as the quarterbacks coach. So that has been what is known kind of publicly from the offensive side of the ball, based on, the departures of Cliff Kingsbury, Bobby Johnson, and the promotion of David Blau.
So the thing that I was always wondering about was about Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach. Well, that was probably the best unit, the best room for the Washington Commanders, and one of his assistants gets promoted to line coach now. So do you expect for the things that he learned under Bobby to stay in effect with this group? Because this group was really productive to the point where you saw a second-year player get benched, be inactive, and then come in towards the end of the season and hold his own. So that showed growth. So do you think they'll continue that development process like Bobby had put in place?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I didn't flinch when, I kind of, was kind of figuring or hoping. I was like, okay, well, Coach Stapleton, I guess, would then get promoted, because I do not see there being any shift in consistency there at all. I think he'll be excellent for sure.
All right, great. Al?
How about the old guys, the ones that's left? Any news on where they may be potentially coming up? And what are you hearing about the defensive coordinator in regards to who's the hot candidates particularly that they're looking at?
I mean, I think that let's go to defensive coordinator first, because I'm like, I don't know, in terms of the roster itself, I think that there just needs to be some clarity on who they want to be. What is the identity? And there just needs to be some alignment there. We could talk a bit about that in a moment. Because there may be more of an overhaul than necessary, right? Or not necessary, but there might need to be a lot happening. And not just with, age aside, there might just need to be some serious changes on that side of the ball based on what we saw and what we didn't see this past season. But in terms of defensive coordinator, I mean, a lot of the hotter names out there are all being interviewed. I think this is just a different. It's a strange time right now with the head coaching carousel, with 10 head coaching positions available this off season, and along with that, there's even more coordinator roles available, where some of the people interviewing kind of have their pick.
Right.
So they're going to spend a lot of money.
Is the job of the defensive coordinator for the Commanders a desired? Any coordinator job is a desired job, but the jobs that are left open, and of course, you have to hire your top picks who are going to be interviewing for head coaching jobs. But is that a desired job because of the personnel that you'll be working with? And will Dan Quinn still be potentially calling plays, as well, being that that's his side of the ball?
I mean, I think, Dan Quinn is somebody that people want to work with. What I'll say in terms of desirable, I always say there's two attractions. There's two attractions here to the Washington Commanders, and that is Dan Quinn and how he builds culture, how he builds people, all of those things. And it is Jayden Daniels, a healthy Jayden Daniels, right? These are your two draws. Now, whomever is the defensive coordinator in this place has a very hard job. Okay. And the room for error is like none.
Okay.
There is not a margin. It's just not. I mean, I think we can say that across the league. I mean, my goodness, right? Because even when you're seeing in instances, I think I heard you all maybe talking about Sean McDermott maybe when I was coming in, but it's like, even when players aren't executing on game day, somebody on the coaching staff is going to get blamed for that. Right. And so it's going to be interesting who they choose. And it's going to be interesting from the perspective of one of the things that I've been saying, and it kind of happened with Coach Blau, even though I've been saying for like since last summer, Coach Blau is going to be the next offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders.
Okay.
Right? It's almost like, who is that hot name? You know, the next set of innovators, the next set of creators that people really don't know what their scheme is. Right? Nobody's seen their defense before. Maybe you've seen it and you're not sure. There's also opportunities with the teams that are still playing. There are teams that, you know, that just wrapped up this past weekend, and there are 4 that are still playing that, you know, could have staff. I mean, they got to get this right. Coach Blau is on staff. They promoted from within. I know for myself, as soon as I saw that Dan Campbell was interviewing him, I was like, please, DQ, don't let this happen.
You said that. You said that on the show. You said that on
the show. I said, use your clues, everybody. They blocked Coach Blau last year. Here comes Dan Campbell after he has fired his offensive coordinator after 1 year, right? And remember, he took over offensive coordinator responsibilities the week that the Lions were playing the Commanders. These folks are taking these positions seriously. And of course, a team that held the number 1 seed was beat by the Commanders in the divisional round, then didn't make the playoffs at all.
This year.
Oh, and then you go and you want to interview David Blau? That should have been everybody's sign. They can't let him leave. Okay. So I think the same amount of pressure, if not more, is on the defensive coordinator. They got to get it right.
Now, a couple of coaches past, the staff was filled with not quality coaches. I'm just going to say it that way. And it was like the head coach was afraid to hire someone with some credentials because he felt as if he may be replaced. And you could look around and you could see, like, you can't fire him because, you know, who are you going to have elevated to that position, even as an interim? I don't get the feeling, but do you get the feeling that DQ's the same way? Like, he's not afraid to hire someone with head coaching experience, like he has Anthony Lynn on the staff. But when you look at the defensive side of the ball, with the people he's brought in, could that person possibly be the one that, you know, if things don't go the way that he wants, be the one that replaces him? And is that one of the things that would stop him from hiring a qualified person?
Meaning that would, because he needs to hire from within, you mean?
No, just
he's scared to hire his replacement. Scared.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be scared. No,
I don't think.
I didn't get that feeling. No, I didn't get that feeling anyway. But I mean, a lot of people are like, you know, still thinking that because of what previous coaches have done when they were filling out their staff. I mean, you saw last year he had a whole bunch of ex-head coaches on his team, and he's interviewed some already to come through the building.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I think the thing of it is everybody has options right now. You all, it's a ton of options out there.
Yes,
a ton.
10 jobs available.
Exactly. In the command, I mean, if you really sat back and really looked at it, right? This isn't the only desirable place. It's just not. It's not. They have 2 attractions. Okay, great. But everybody's competing for these jobs right now. And the folks who are in the interview, kind of got their pick of where they want to go, depending on who's paying them the most money.
And let's be honest as well, Pick. I know there's a bias there, but there's better jobs out there than working for the Commanders as the defensive coordinator. A lot better. You know.
Well, of course, because you still got to look at, if you look at places like Baltimore, if you look at places like Buffalo, you can see that they have players in place already. Whereas if you look at the Washington Commanders job, you got some picks to spend, you got some free agency to deal with to get the talent to where it needs to be, which leads to my next question here, Candi, which is sort of what Cuzzo's asking here. Free agency, with free agency a few months away, are there any players we're looking to lock down immediately? Like, who would you bring back, you know, besides Laramie? Let's exclude Laramie because we know that's one that needs to be done. And who would you bring back before free agency started?
I mean, I think they need to figure out, you know, I mean, I'll just go ahead and say Laramie. They need to figure out Laramie and Debo, what they're going to do. From a wide receiver perspective, I do think that's a conversation that needs to be had for sure. and there were many players on 1-year deals, many, or even 2-year deals, that they're up now. And so it'll be interesting to know what that evaluation looks like, because here's then is the reality. Like, Adam Peters said something, a lot in that last press conference, which was around who Jaden is comfortable with, who he trusts, and all that. That's on offense, right? And they talked about getting younger and all those things on defense. But there is something to be said about continuity. Going back to Al's point about the desirability of the job, it is a lot of work to do. And here's the reality. If you don't have a healthy Jaden Daniels, it ain't no telling where this thing gonna end up, right? And everybody saw that. Everybody saw the difference it made without having that time on task, without your everybody in place, healthy, right? With time on task throughout the summer, throughout September. Now how important it is. I mean, everybody should know how important the quarterback is, right? That changes everything. As soon as your QB1 goes down, that literally changes everything. Unless you have a built-in system. So the challenge with the Washington Commanders, and I want to explain this, is they were year 2 into a recalibration. You saw year 1 where it just surged. But did they really have a system in place? Like, let's be for real. Like, could you have really had a system in place when 5 of your close games, you won them all, which rarely happens. This is rare that happens, right? The next year, it all falls apart. Once there's a holdout that impacts time on task, there's also injuries at the wide receiver, right? That impacts all of that. And then September, week 2, you have 5 injuries in one night.
Yep.
And then it just starts. It just
snowballs.
It
just snowballs
after that. And so you got to get stable on who are we from an identity perspective, right? You got your head coach that brings the culture. Your head coach brings the culture. I've done a lot of talking about this and just really want to see and understand what's going on in the league. Your head coach brings that culture, right? But your coordinators have to be X's and O's goons, right? And you're only as good as that year. That is it. Okay, that's it. If you look at the whole NFC, right? How many teams from the NFC didn't even make the playoffs? Okay, the Commanders, Detroit, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, right?
It was a whole new crew.
Nine teams didn't make it. Nine teams didn't make it. And that was kind of to my next question, Candi.
Right.
You led to it. Mm-hmm. More so than anybody you can hire to me. What is Adam Peters going to do to build this roster? I know you have guys you need to hold on to, but more importantly than the guys you have is the guys that you need. And I know a lot of that will be with the draft and things on those lines. And it's still a little too early for free agency because still, like you said, football teams are still playing. Yeah. But to my point, like I said, we've spoken many times, like you said, what is the identity of this team? Offensively, defensively, whatever. Yeah. We've spoken about that all the time during the season, and I wasn't confused. Is this a Jaden Daniels run option team, or is it a pass team, or is it a run team? You tell me. So I guess my question is, I've said a lot, what is the pressure on Adam Peters?
I believe it is.
And his position as general manager more so than Dan Quinn, DQ, because you saw a ridiculous firing in Buffalo and a ridiculous firing and then a promotion being who did not give McDermott what he needed on the roster side. And so do you have a similar situation where Adam Peters' job could be more in jeopardy than Dan Quinn because he's not giving Dan Quinn the tools he needs?
I mean, I think it could be a catch-22, but here's what's going to save them regardless was the injuries.
Okay.
I mean, that's just like, it's the truth. You know what I mean? That's going to save regardless, right? But then it becomes that's now you got a bigger question, right? Because is it the coordinator or not? Is it that's when it becomes the catch-22. right? And it's hard to say because coaches and coordinators are not in charge of missed tackles.
No.
Nope.
Right? And false start penalties. Right, and miss kicks. Now I will say something about that miss, getting a kicker and things, because people might think it's a small thing, but it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So it is really what came first, the chicken or the egg. Now we can all look at certain things and say, okay, well, when they didn't have as many injuries, what did they do or how did they move or whatever? And sometimes you can just watch your tea leaves and look. Has Joe Witt Jr. gotten any interviews? Okay.
Nope.
So, and you can look at with Cliff Kingsbury, the first thing that anybody will say, what most will say is, well, what did you expect them to do without Jaden Daniels?
Yeah, but can you really use that as an excuse?
Absolutely.
They do.
For Cliff. I'm saying for Cliff because
yes.
This is Cliff's, like, Cliff has had.
But see, y'all killed me. Y'all loved Cliff last year. And then when he doesn't have, when you loved Cliff last year, but when Cliff
there's
doesn't
a
have
thing.
Daniels, Jaden, now you want to see is, then you're telling me it's Cliff's fault.
No, I'm saying
I would say that I couldn't help Cliff after that Minnesota game. Now I will say I can't help him. I can't help him because now you got all your pieces and you didn't score any points at all, and now you in trouble. But to that point though, Al, I think where you're getting at though is, and I think what you're trying to say, I'm trying to share from a league perspective, your absolute probability of having a winning season when your quarterback one is not healthy is like low.
Right. But what I'm saying is there was no evolution with the offense. It was the same as it was before, right? And just to sort of Cuzzo's point of view here is what he says, do you feel like the league caught up once they saw the tape, right? Where is your evolution? Why did how do you keep people off balance? You have to evolve your offense. And it seems like he was not willing to evolve his offense. Like, what was it? The bubble screens. How long did it take for him to run the fake bubble screen to hit Luke? Or when he fakes the block and goes downfield, he's wide open, right? And then you see the Chicago Bears rip that same play off, right? Where's your evolution? And I think that's what the problem is when it comes to Cliff, is like there is no evolution to his offense. Yeah, year one, it works. What about year two? What about year three, year four? How are we going to evolve this thing? So I hear you, and I think this is the second time on the show where you have said something about the coordinators being X's and O's goons.
You got to. Who else is going to do? I mean, who else does it? This is not the head coach's responsibility unless the head coach calls plays.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that's actually not the head coach's job. It's the coordinator's job. Right. But if you are the person that actually calls plays, now you can jump in when things aren't going right. Now that becomes what is your leadership style when things aren't going well? Right. How do you engage? But that's why it's like people. No, you got a coordinator problem. And I said that back during the season. I said, I let everybody know week 4, what I felt about the defense. I said week 7, what I feel. But a lot of people, even when I have this conversation amongst my colleagues across the league, they're going to immediately say, but Candi, Jaden Daniels was hurt, right? And let's not everybody act like year 1 of this regime had a lot to do with the best rookie season we've seen from a quarterback ever. And I think that's what happened. I've just been saying it. He had such a tremendous first season that it masked a lot, even for everybody, right? It made you think you were better than what you were.
Not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, it just it was, and it felt good. And it was like, but in terms of even with going to the draft or going with free agency, I'm going to go back to the point of there were some players that were very good year 1 of this. And year 2, they regressed. I'm more concerned about that. And I don't feel like that's being talked about. What happened to the performance? There's things being dished out everywhere, and that's fine. But there were key players that were not injured, by the way. Everybody's dealing with injuries. Let me be clear on that. But they did not miss games. Let me say that.
Oh, right.
Miss games due to injury that did not look the same.
Yeah.
And to me, that's one of the stories that's like, are we getting down to the bottom of what happened there?
Yeah. I hear you. And that's part of my question is to like the coordinates that you speak of and how you speak of it. Leads me to questions like, why did Mikey Sanders still get pushed back in to the inside at the beginning of the season when Mikey showed you he can handle the outside? It didn't make sense to me as to pushing him back in. It doesn't make sense until you try to get your three best corners on the field at the same time. Why push him inside? That's like asking the question of, you drafted Sam Cosmi during Jay Gruden time to play tackle, and immediately you saw that he wasn't a tackle, he's a guard. You put him at guard and he becomes one of the best offensive guards in the league. Your eyes don't lie to you. Trust what you know. Why put Mikey back out there? Why put him back on the inside? You shouldn't do it. And why did it take you so long for Quan for there to be consequences to missed tackles, to being out of position and things of that nature? Why did it take so long? So I understand what you're saying when you talk about the coordinators have to be goons, have to be X's and O's goons. But my question is, where was Anthony Lynn? Like, I mean, I understand you're a running game coordinator, but you also have been a head coach before. Why have you not pulled your OC in the office and said, "Hey, come on, buddy, this ain't cutting it. This is not cutting it. Where's the camaraderie and things of that nature?"
That he didn't.
Facts. Yeah. Okay. And that's another question. Is Anthony Lynn being retained? I mean, he's still there right now.
I haven't heard different, but that doesn't mean you know what I mean? Like, I haven't heard any different. And I mean, hey, the running back room was great too, right? But that was a group that we also did not see get maximized.
Nope.
As early and often as they should have when things were going haywire with injuries with the wide receiver group. And so it was way more challenges and issues probably, and they just haven't nailed the kicker. Now, if anybody wants to nail Adam Peters on anything, it's on the kicker. I'm serious.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to spend a draft pick on a kicker. I don't see that happening.
I mean, why not? I mean, the Ravens did. Other people do. You know what I mean? He did on Jake Moody.
You see, Aubrey about to be available because we're about to be stupid and not sign our best player.
I mean, but see, Al, to that point, right? You literally just said that the kicker was the best player. A kicker is so important. A consistent kicker that can consistently kick over 50 yards is the norm in today's NFL. It is the norm. It is what you have to know how to do.
Yeah.
And it is a key, essential part of your team. And they have not figured that out. Now, that's an issue, right? To me, the issue is, well, what is it so hard? What is the problem here? Why can't you find a consistent kicker? What's going on here? That could be an issue for sure. I think it is an issue. I think that's an issue. Even though we're like, you talk about the kicker. Yes, I am. Because it's a very important part
win
of
games.
They
win games.
We talk about Tress Way. Are they going to re-sign Tress? Is Tress coming back? Don't retire Tress because he's still is Pro Bowl caliber punter. These things matter. And the regression of players. The regression of players with the same staff. That is something that is not being discussed. And that was a consistent issue all season long. And in some cases, you named one of the players already. You saw the player get worse as the season went on.
Yep. Things
did not get better. So what was going on there? Right. And so this is whoever's taking up the defense. And I'm going to go back to the thing with of Adam P. Yes. I mean, there's enough blame to go around everywhere. All over the place, right? But once you have regression of players, can't figure out the kicker situation, not consistency with maximizing players, and that could be associated with the offense or the defense, but I saw it more on the offense, quite frankly. There's a lot of questions. And that's what I'm saying. This league isn't friendly in terms of patience.
I'm glad you said that. That was my next question. That was my next question. Let's say next year, year 3, is 8, 9, 9, and 8 year, where Jaden plays 15 games, at least 15 games. There's improvement, but there's no playoff. There's no playoff. Does the ownership have the patience to stay on this path or track? And I know it's a hard to answer question because there's a lot of variables there in regards to how they're looking, or how they're trending, and things along those lines. But is the expectation playoffs or bust next year for the organization standpoint?
Good question.
I don't know if it's realistic. And that would be given if everybody's healthy. I mean, Josh Harris has been historically with his teams pretty patient.
Okay.
And there is something to be said about but you also have to. I might also be looking at this from a different perspective as well. How can you build consistency
if you keep
when people get fired every year?
Yeah, but this is the NFL. You know the
what I mean?
Every year, a quarter of
the first bad year you have with your boo, and then you're gonna break up. And then
I've seen it happen, girl. I've seen it happen.
The honeymoon phase never lasts.
Right.
But what they do need to do, I don't think. I know. Here's all I can say. And everybody, this is also flying under the radar. Make sure I don't know who, injuries happen, but that needs to be addressed, figured out. What in the world happened?
In the fitness staff.
You can't have a club med again. You can't have a club med.
Well, they don't have club med. That's why I'm saying what I'm
doing. Club tub. That's the problem.
Yeah, you can't
got club tub, and all you guys in the tub.
Yeah, it was bizarre because I know what they brought in there. And we all have heard the story. This is it. That's what made it so weird. I mean, even for everybody. Remember, I would come on this show and be like, listen, if I feel like this in the press box, what in the world is going through Dan Quinn's head on the sideline? He's probably like, and I've always said my only maybe constructive criticism was why did you wait so long to engage? Or to inject when you saw something. If you really believed in your mind, you could go to the playoffs. You got to see something. You see something, you got to say something. So that was my only challenge with that. But I don't know how much different, based on what I've seen so far in the playoffs, I don't even know how much different a fully healthy roster would have been based on the type of play I've seen this year in the NFL. I'm not saying they wouldn't have made the playoffs. I'm not saying they would have. What I'm saying is I don't know how much of a difference it would have made, even if everybody was healthy.
You're watching First String Podcast. We're live with Bowie TV's own CWall, Candi CWall Waller here. We're about to be joined here by Ben Strober from 1067, the fan producer on the Junkies. We may have a couple of Commanders-related questions he wants to jump in with. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey, Ben.
I'm doing good. How's everyone doing?
We're good. We're good.
Awesome.
Did you have any Commanders questions?
Oh, man, this every day is a mystery at this point. From just on the show, we're trying to figure out who's going to become the next defensive coordinator here. So I'll get your input on that real quick, Candi, just because I want to hear your perspective on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ben. I'm like, hey, I don't know, and then I really do think it's exactly that. I mean, in I knew the offensive coordinator that I've been talking about since last summer, but with the defensive coordinator, this one is, in fact, what you say, it is a mystery. It is a mystery, and the only thing that I could gather is that they're waiting. To see if somebody's going to get back to them that's still trying to make a decision or still interviewing, or they're waiting for somebody that's still in the playoffs. I think, and rightfully so, we've seen some very good defensive play.
And I think all the coaching changes have made this complicated because we had two people prop up that you probably didn't expect in Tomlin and then McDermott within 2 weeks. So then everything shifts in the whole landscape of the search, because then these guys become available. So
Yep.
it's fascinating. I can't wait to see how everything culminates around the league.
Yeah, it is really fascinating. I totally agree with you. Yeah, those things threw a wrench in it, didn't it? I mean, I felt like the Ravens did, even though, it's kind of split. Some people are like, hey, that should have happened a long time ago, or, was surprised that it happened, but definitely Tomlin and the Bills. I maybe after the first round, if the Bills didn't make it through, but I thought the divisional round and how they lost, I didn't think McDermott was in jeopardy. I really didn't.
I didn't either.
But hey, who are we? We're just sitting here talking. So
I keep telling you, Matt Eberflus is available if y'all want.
No.
He's an excellent defensive coordinator for you.
Well, what that goes, but still, right? I mean, right. So like the Cowboys defense, they got a defensive coordinator role. Oh, a lot of jobs, to your point earlier, Al. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. Yes. And you don't have to rush to make a decision. I mean, nobody on either side has to rush to make a decision.
And I think the fact that you said, Candi, a lot of options, and you don't know what direction a lot of these teams are. They going to go old? Are they going to go a rerun? Like, I was surprised Saleh got the job in Tennessee.
I wasn't.
No, because I thought the job was going to be Mike McCarthy. What I've been hearing when I have been talking to Julius, Mike McCarthy was the guy that they had been talking to and people had seen him rumored to be in the area a couple of times on multiple interviews. And I like that offensive-minded coach established like him, probably more so than Saleh, for a young quarterback like Cam Ward. Now, my thing is now, who is Saleh going to get as his offensive coordinator? Because that's going to help me determine if that's a good hire for Tennessee. Because after that debacle in New York, where no one seems to be able to succeed for the Jets, I don't know whether to hold it against them or to use it as evidence of what's to come.
Yeah, and I mean, they settled that out fast, didn't they? I mean, it just, as soon as it was over, okay, they settled that one out. But then there's still so many other options. It's like, I think Mike McDaniel took his name out of the hat for the Browns, like. Mm-hmm. Not gonna go there.
He would not take an interview with Philadelphia for their OC job. I heard that.
Exactly. It's so now people they can be
selective, very selective.
They can chart their own path, see who's gonna do what. If it's me and it's not Brian Flores, right? Because Coach Quinn talked a lot about wanting to be a communicator, collaborative, all those great things. It seemed like at least a couple of weeks ago that Kevin O'Connell felt confident that Brian Flores was going to come back and be a defensive coordinator. But let's be for real, he has options such that if he doesn't get a head coaching role in this cycle, then it's going to raise a lot of questions. Like, really? He didn't get a head coaching job at all, or at least an offer. So that, I mean, he absolutely could, but I don't know. Pick one, whoever you like. Get somebody off the Houston Texans defensive staff, Seattle's defensive staff.
They seem to know what they're doing over those two places, don't they?
Okay.
I got a player question for you.
Al Harris has consistently been mentioned, but he also has not been a defensive coordinator before. But so what? I mean, I don't know.
I'll try. I'd love to have him back in DC in Dallas County.
But right. So now that the Cowboys defensive coordinator role is opened, I have heard that I mean, out here, Chicago Bears defense is going better than what's happening here. So it's that's where I would be looking if anybody wanted to know. The Patriots defense ain't all that bad either. Okay, they're pretty good. And so everybody that's still playing, probably I said it right. Texans, Seattle, somebody over there on one of those staffs. I'm like, sign me up. But that's if they want to come.
I think that we've talked about it before. The offensive line was one of the better rooms for the Washington Commanders this year. How much of a priority is Chris Paul?
Oh, a lot. Yes, please. Yeah, they need to try to lock him in. Yeah, I mean, he beat out your draft pick from the previous season that played was a starter.
Yep,
the whole entire season. So it was good. He was good, and so I think he's very important. Again, going back to that note of consistency for the offense and for Jaden, I wouldn't let him walk.
Yeah. I think Chris Paul is an underrated player. You know, the guards are not well. The quarterback thinks the guards are important, but for Chris Paul to have been here and developed for so long, and we talk about our draft picks not developing and not seeing them on the field. Well, Chris Paul was a draft pick, he was a late round draft pick. He's put the work and he's put the time in, and then he got a chance to get in there, and he would not let that position go. So I think for me, him and LT are the top priorities on that offense. Getting those guys, bring those guys back along with Debo, like you said, and then finding a tight end. Candi, do we got a couple more minutes with you, or
yeah,
you...
a couple more minutes? Yep. I don't want to interfere with Ben. Ben, I know you you got a lot of
wizard questions for Ben. Yeah. I got wizard
so I'm gonna after a couple more questions for me, then I'm gonna drop off and probably listen to what Ben got to say about it.
All right, cool.
Catch up since I can catch up now.
Catch up on some whiz, yes. That secondary was atrocious. It was beat up pretty bad. Candi, I have asked you before, who's the priority in that secondary of bringing back? And of course, we know the trade with Marshawn Lattimore didn't work out the way that we thought. So of course, I'm not talking about him. But who's a priority in that secondary to get back, get right, or let him go?
I mean, I think that you only are obligated to stick to your draft picks in that category. And everybody else is up for conversation and debate. I think Quan is still on his rookie deal, so there might need to be some conversation around, of course, bringing him back because he's on his rookie deal. And, is he a depth piece or what they're going to do there? But I think there's some openings there for sure. I mean, again, some of it, unfortunately, I do believe was scheme. I do not think players were in the position to be successful. However, once they were, you saw you didn't see consistency across the board. So I think there's more work that needs to be done at that position than people realize. And I'm talking safeties and corners.
Okay, because I mean
outside of your draft picks, right?
Okay.
So that would be outside of.
So the draft picks that you're talking about. So we're talking about Trey Amos, Mikey, Quan. As pretty much those are the guys still on rookie deals.
This regime's draft picks. So I'm only talking about Mikey and Trey, as you don't have to. I think we figured out. I feel like I figured out why Mikey may have been. It was a scheme,
right?
And so maybe there's some questions around there. But I think Trey Amos, before he got injured, he was as advertised. I think he was great.
Yeah.
He was very good.
Yeah, when you see quarterbacks going the other way.
So there was some questions there at the rest of that. And at your safety, I think that needs to take a hard look at the safety group.
Ben.
Sorry, I said it just cutting out a little bit.
Oh, I was saying, did you have something? Because you was about ready to say something there.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You good, Al?
Yep.
No, I'm like I said, I'm reserving the remainder of my. Candi always gives us way too much information. So
she gives us a lot.
We're just flooded. Like I said, I wish I could put her on another team. I wish I could recruit her to give me some more insight.
This is a team that I cover. I was talking about a lot of stuff since NFL, the playoffs and stuff, because I use that intel.
I know. Some of that team right there, I can get you on that staff and get some more coverage on them. We in tune. We'll be well tuned if we get you covering a little bit and find out what's going on down Jerry World. But I'm gonna leave that alone right now. I know Bowie's being local, so it's okay.
Because they got a big season, they got a big off season too. This is a big off season. This is just everywhere.
Especially since
signing Pickens. That's what I've heard. From some they're committed to signing Pickens down there.
Oh, they must.
Yeah, but we have to. I know we're going to address the draft. I trust that we're going to do. We usually draft pretty well, and we have to. But our defense is bad.
I don't
talent
agree.
wise,
Well,
scheme wise.
funny enough, it's like the defense went down, and I know that there were a lot of gripes about Dan Quinn's defense when he was the defensive coordinator, but I feel like it hasn't been the same since he left.
It hasn't been. There was gripes. I wanted to keep DQ. I mean, I understand he did a good enough job here where he deserved another shot at a head coaching job, which so I sent him on and wished him well. I was one of the guys screaming to keep Al Harris and to promote within and keeping him where he goes. Turnovers follow, and that's a good thing for a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Well, Candi, thank you so much. We'll catch up with you.
Thank you all.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Happy New Year too, Kenny. I don't know if I see you.
Yeah, Happy New Year. It's all one long day for me. So yes, Happy New Year. All right, see you guys.
Thank you. That was Candi. Oh, my bad, Ben. That was Candi Waller, Bowie TV's own. Catch her everywhere. Make sure you follow her on her socials and everything like that. She'll keep you up to date with the latest and greatest for the Washington Commanders. Right now, it's us and Ben Strober. Ben Strober is producer for the Junkies. He has Locked On Wizards podcast as well. There's been a lot happening with the Washington Wizards here lately. We picked up a guy from Atlanta that said he was happy to see go, but didn't want to see go, and was a little bit confused. And so we have a new Trey in Washington, but also the team is still trying to make sure that they secured their top 4 pick. Is that at the same time, right? So it's tactical tanking, right? Tactical tanking.
Yeah, I think the word that people like to use is ethical tanking because, like, they haven't done anything too egregious. They got a team full of young players that are trying to develop. So with that process that comes, young players are not necessarily very good NBA players. Not to say they're not talented, but it's hard to win in this league. And yesterday's game against Los Angeles will tell you exactly how hard it is to win in this league. James Harden shot 20 free throws himself. The whole Wizards team shot 22. So just one guy who basically drives left every single time. He's done that for 17 years of his career. It's hard for a young team to negate that, to stop it, and then they made a critical mistake of not blocking him out after he surprisingly missed both free throws at the end. That's the growing pains that come with being young. They've definitely seen some flashes, though. You had 78 combined points from your young core of players yesterday, and it results in a loss, which is probably going to help you out in terms of your tank standings, your draft standings, if you will, because you do have to finish in the bottom 4 in the league to guarantee that you stay in the top 8, which is where their pick protection is right now. If they fell out of 8, the New York Knicks would get their pick. So the front office is committed to making sure that doesn't happen because they know how important that this upcoming draft pick will be. And if you finish with the worst record in the league, you're guaranteed to pick in the top 5 at worst. The lowest you could fall is 5. Last year they finished second worst. They fell to 6. Just kind of the way it goes, but they're making strides in terms of development. If you look where they were 40 wins into the game last year, they were at 6 wins. The year before, I think they were at 5. This year, they were at 10, and they're at the heels of a 7-game losing streak right now. So there could have been room for it to be better, but they are making significant signs of improvement so far here.
That's well. I got two big questions for you, Ben. Because one based from what you just said. Has the NIL and a lot of these with players staying longer in college, and like in football, like in college football, have it strengthened the pool of potential players coming into the NFL? Because historically, NFL was a lot different than college. I mean, the NBA, excuse me. NBA is a lot different than the NFL. NFL wanted, almost veteran collegiate players, but NBA always went for the young talent or potential. Has it increased the pool so that there's more players available? At least early to the first 10 picks that the Wizards be looking at.
It's interesting because I feel like the NBA, obviously, there's so many less players than the NFL that it's hard. To be a first-round pick in the NBA is an unbelievable feat, and no less to say any pick in the NBA or the NFL is not an unbelievable feat because it is. But to be like a premier talent that can go one and done in college, I think usually you see everybody take that opportunity. Most players, I think, that know they're league ready or will be potentially drafted in the first round would take that opportunity. I know with the college game, it has gotten crazy. And just look at what Indiana did. That whole team is like 24 or 25 years old. And when you have grown-ass men like that playing against boys, like that is the result you're going to get. But I don't think I've seen any like effects that have been too negative because of NIL. I think NIL has provided a lot of negative aspects to the college sports in itself, not necessarily to the NBA or anything like that, to answer your question.
And then my next question is, what are we doing with Trae Young and why?
This is the heavily debated topic around town at this point. I honestly think they'll sign him to an extension. Now, what does that extension look like? I don't entirely know, but I feel like locking him up for an extra 2-year extension might be the move that Washington feels like will make the most sense, because where they're trying to go in the future, they're not necessarily looking to be a playoff-ready team next year. There's going to be expectations for them to perform a lot better to increase their win total. I think they'd love to flirt with the play-in game and try to reach that point, but it would be asking a lot of a team that's in this developmental stage with primarily players under 23, 24 years old for them to do as much. I think having Trae Young as your lead guard for a 2-year extension, because you have the financial flexibility to do so, could make sense for this organization, because the way the NBA works with the salary cap as well, it increases every single year. Even if you do pay him a contract, which people view as expensive at the time, like let's say they give him 2 years, $100 million. So you go, okay, $50 million per year, like that's a heavily appreciated contract. Like that seems like a lot. I think a lot of people would be against it. But 18 months from when they make that decision, when he becomes an expiring deal again, that contract might not be as bad as people view it at the time. It could actually be considered more bargaining for Trae Young, because he'd be around 29 to 30 years old at the time. So maybe he's an asset that actually becomes pretty tradable at that point for this team if they're ready to move on, depending on what they get in the draft this year. Because I don't think just because they got Trae Young, or if they extend him, means they wouldn't go and grab Darren Peterson in this draft if he was there for him, even though he's like a potential point guard candidate, or even any of the other point guard candidates that are coming through here. I think they're going to look to get younger at point guard eventually, but they feel like Trae Young can stabilize what they're trying to do, help with the development of their young players, and I don't think they have to ask him to do a whole lot. If anybody thinks Trae Young is going to come here and the expectation is for him to be what he was 5 years ago, where he was arguably a top 5 offensive player, 39% usage guy, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. You brought him here because he's a guy that can make plays for others and hopefully elevate these young players.
So that's my question, is if Trae Young does stick around, what does that look like with Trae and our other was it Trae as well, as far as that guy walking once he crosses half court, puts feet on the wood, he's in range.
Yeah. So that's going to be interesting to see, because I think Trey Johnson can play really well off the basketball. Now he's getting better here in his rookie season playing on the ball. I'd like to see some more opportunities for him as well, because it's an important aspect of your game. And you just see the way defenses treat him recently. As soon as he touches the basketball beyond half court, he has people that press up on him because they know that he will pull it from there and he will knock him down from that range. That's a legitimate threat to your offense when you have a defense that has to respect your shot from that far outside the arc. So Trey Johnson, his ability to then in turn get to the mid-range area, get to the elbow, and settle for some of these mid-range shots that he's been taking has been a pleasant sign as well. I've seen increased role in his playmaking, which has gotten a lot better. He had a career-high 5 assists the other night. I think Trae Young will benefit him greatly, because Trae Young is the point guard that can get 2 feet in the paint and really collapse the defense down. That's something that this Wizards team doesn't necessarily have right now. So if you have a guy like Trae Johnson that I think is making around 45% of his catch and shoot 3 opportunities right now, that will definitely benefit him a lot. It's going to benefit Keyshawn George a lot shooting from the outside, because he's not going to have to handle the basketball as much as he's had to this year, which I think was a little bit overkill for him compared to his skill set, even though he's done okay. I think it's really going to benefit a lot of different players in a lot of different ways, and hopefully unlock some new things we didn't know about their game.
My next question is, I know we have to protect this draft pick, but what piece is missing from this young core to take them to the next level where they can possibly be knocking on the door for playoffs next year?
Well, I think the obvious 2 answers are another big that you pair alongside Alex Sarr, and then the point guard position. Whether Trae Young is your point guard for the foreseeable future or not, Like, he could be a piece that certainly helps you out, but they might look to upgrade that or get younger at that at some point, so that'll be interesting to see. But Sarr, as good as he's been in year number 2, which has been a complete revelation, he honestly could be an all-star this year, but he doesn't get the fan recognition because he's playing for a team that's 10-33 right now, which it's understandable. That's just the way it works with fan voting in the NBA. But for Sarr, he would benefit big time for having a big, physical, bruising center play alongside him to take some of the weight off his shoulders a little bit, because the Wizards primarily will play a pretty small lineup with either Keyshawn George playing at the 4, Bilal Coulibaly, when he's been healthy, play at the 4. They let Sarr get the free reign to be the only big that's out there. And at times it works out because they can put him on an island with a center that's not big enough, not quick enough to keep up with him offensively. But defensively, Sarr is your defensive anchor. He has great switchability, he has great reach, he has great length with his wingspan, and he does a better job than anybody in the NBA right now contesting shots. That's why he leads the league in blocks at 2.3 per game, I believe. So if you got another big physical center like Boozer in this draft, or power forward, whatever, you can have them be interchangeable because Sarr can play the 4 too. If you have a double big lineup out there between those two guys, I think, one, it would make them really hard to score on in the lane, because the big reason why Sarr leads the league in blocks right now is because they're giving up more attempts at the rim than anybody in the league right now. It is far too easy for teams to get looks at the rim. And Sarr, I think, has done an admirable job of defending those. But if you had another guy down there that could match up physically with some of the other bigs in this league, like a Karl Anthony Towns, like a Joel Embiid, it could benefit you big time. And I think there's going to be options in this draft, and there might be options in free agency as well.
Yeah. Come on, Al.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I mean, man, Ben, you're right on. I think Sarr is having an excellent year. I compare him almost to like a poor man's Anthony Davis, who doesn't get hurt. He's a great defensive stopper, a great defense help guy, and he's maybe score on his own. My question still comes back to Trey and kind of what Pick says. It didn't get done in Atlanta, and with a young Trey, who was, like you said, his usage rate was high. What can we do with him, really? I mean, I'm glad. I applaud the trade that we didn't have to give up a lot of assets to get him. But what can we pair with him I mean, as a Wizards fan, tell me I'm not going to be competitive this year, but what can I do look forward to next year?
Well, I think he's going to help you out immensely offensively, because the biggest struggle this team has had offensively is because the lack of pure point guard on the roster. Bub Carrington's essentially taken the reign as the point guard as of recently, and he's had a couple of pretty solid performances, but a lot of people, most people including me, believe that he's best suited to be more of a combo guard, which is what he was drafted out of Pitt to be. So long term, you have that as like your guy that will come off the bench, give you minutes, whether he's at the 1 or the 2. But you need a real bona fide distributor on this team, somebody that can operate out of the pick and roll with Sarr, because that's kind of the way Washington has set up its offense, at least with Sarr. It's pretty read and react, if you will, and sometimes the short roll will be right there, or you'll have a guy like Trae Young who could essentially isolate, get into the lane, and break down the defense and allow opportunities for others to arise. You just weren't seeing a lot of that early in the season from anybody, because Washington didn't really have a true option that could break down the defense. And Bub Carrington, who's gotten a lot better at playing the point guard position as of late, he still doesn't quite have the athleticism, I think, to be a guy that consistently that doesn't have the twitchiness, the quickness that Trae Young would provide. I think your offense is going to look fantastic with Young out there, because he's going to be able to be that kind of lead guy that this team hasn't had for years now. I think even when you had Jordan Poole here, like, that wasn't necessarily a guy that could be a lead guard option. CJ McCollum is the same thing, because those are heavy isolation players. Like, they'll have high usage rates, but they don't typically play make for others. That's what's interesting about Atlanta going after CJ McCollum. I don't know if he makes a lot of sense there, and I think a lot of people have been frustrated with him so far, because he's just a pretty high isolation player, but doesn't really make plays for others or elevate anybody around him. And to me, I'm almost like, this seems like chess that Washington played here, because you bring CJ McCollum in, and not to say he didn't help him win some games, because he definitely did with the way he played and the amount of times that he gave him like big time performances, 40 points twice in a game. he doesn't really elevate anybody around him. So in turn, like, if he didn't have a big scoring night, they typically were not very successful offensively. But they also had him look really good on certain occasions by scoring a lot, which boosted up his trade value to what it was. So that's kind of almost the way I looked at it there.
Yeah, if you tell me that, I can definitely, I can feel better about it. I know Pick's doing a couple things. You tell me that I feel better, because that was my question. I mean, you tell me in one voice we can't win a lot of games because we got to protect that pick that doesn't go to the Knicks. But I'm wondering, what ice am I getting? Ice Trey, or am I getting just Trey? That's my question in regards to the complimentary to the teams, the rest of the team, and to the whole Wizards organization.
So I don't think you're looking for like Ice Trey. I think you're looking for just Trae Young, and Trae Young is a very good basketball player.
Yeah,
Are you going to look at him?
Yeah.
Are you going to look at him to be your number one superstar player? That's probably not the case, but that's okay. I think Washington understands that, but I think they also understand that at 27 years old, he has a lot left to give to this league. He can play at a super high level still, and he can make people around him better. They don't need him to be a S talker in New York City, dropping 45 points, talking trash to the crowd. They don't need him to do that. Maybe it'll happen on occasion. I don't know. Could be pretty exciting to see. He's a box office guy, so I'm sure he's going to have his performances where he'll get his fair share of offensive opportunities and score a lot. But they don't need him to be that kind of player. I think that part of Trae Young's career is a little bit past him at this point, but that's okay.
Okay. He's a definitely upgrade from Jordan Poole, so I'm having no problem with that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are upgrade anyone who'd be an upgrade. I don't want to throw too much shade at him. He's not that
I'll
bad.
do it. I know you have a relationship with these guys. I'll do it, Ben. It's definitely an upgrade, and anyone can be an upgrade over the Jordan Poole. Trust me, I do believe that. Yes. Wait, Pick. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing these guys play better and compete, which I think they are doing a heck of a job. Developing these guys. I like the fact that the Wizards have their little 10 game type meeting to make sure that everybody's still on track in their progress. They're progressing. I like the game plan, tear it all down, build it all back up. So it's just a matter of time before, we compete for something. So I'm happy that the Wizards are heading in the right direction. You're watching First String Podcast. We're live here with Ben Strober from the Sports Junkies, producer on the Sports Junkies and Locked On Wizards podcast. If you guys have questions for Ben real fast, I think we got him for about another maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Put them into the chat and we will get them up and asking about them, because there is more to this team other than the new acquisition of Trae Young. There it is. Is he trade bait?
I think he could be at some point, whether or not that's next year, because if he picks up his player option, then he instantly becomes an expiring contract for you. But it is difficult to move a $49 million player in the time that it will be next February or whatever it is. So it's definitely possible. That's why a lot of people see this move as pretty low risk, because you're committing to it for at least one season or so. And if the fit doesn't really work out too well, or you want to end up moving him at some point, you could have the option to do that, and it was a pretty low risk play. That could be the case, but I do think that this front office sees value in what he can bring to the team. So I'm not necessarily convinced that he's trade bait. I just think it is a possibility depending on where they are at this point next year. But they hope to be in a hell of a lot better position now, or next year at this point, than they are right now.
Yeah. Which one of the younger pieces are you the most excited about?
It's so difficult to say at this point, because every night you see a 28-point performance for Alex Sarr yesterday and you go, it's him. And I've always been the highest on him because I felt like he was the most important piece to complete this Wizards rebuild. Now, he's not the final piece, obviously, but I said with a guy that's a unicorn at 7'1" and can do a lot of different things, but he's kind of raw as a prospect, if they hit on this guy, he is going to tie things together for this organization. They're going to be able to build a really good team around him, hopefully. And the way it's looking right now, it looks like he's a massive home run. So Sarr, honestly, he screams, can like realistically, I think he will be an all-star multiple times in his career. The way he's projecting right now, you might see him in the conversations in a couple of years of some of the top centers in the game, the Chet Holmgrens, the Alperen Şengün's. Like, you could see Star cement himself in those conversations because he's doing this in year number 2 in a team without a pure point guard, a team that isn't even trying to win. It's honestly starstruck. Like, it has me starstruck at this point that he has been this good in his second season because he had a lot of holes to his game in year number 1. And I wasn't discouraged by it because he was 19 years old at the time. But I was like, hopefully he cleans some of these things up. He's almost nearly polished his game, but he's still far from a finished product, which makes this scary for everybody else. He's not even a finished product right now, and he's really good.
Yeah, so I mean that's who I'm excited about as well. Along with some other pieces and things of that nature. So I think we're a little bit away from competing. And one of the best things that I've heard was other players are starting to want to come to Washington. Does that have to do with the front office? Does it have to do with the coaching staff? Or does it have to do with the players and the way that they're developing their players?
It's everything. And for CJ McCollum to actually give the organization a ringing endorsement on his way out, I think was massive. Because you think about how highly regarded McCollum is around this league. Yes. He's the reason the league is what it is right now because he was the president of the Players Association. The second apron, all that exists because of him. People value his opinion and how he feels like an organization should treat players. And he said this is a very respectable organization now. They treat everybody with class. They'll take care of you. And they're trying to do things the right way. And I think that matters a lot. And Trae Young, you could say right now, like, oh, he always says he wanted to go to D.C. because nobody else wanted him. Part of that could be the case, but I don't necessarily buy that because he brought up, I said, I think there's been a narrative around D.C. that it's different than the way it is internally because there were so many years of poor front offices, ownership meddling with everything as well that it made Washington look like a destination that you couldn't really succeed in because of the situation that was there. But I think they've really tried to change that narrative in D.C. They have grown-ups running this front office, treating players the way they should, and really trying to develop a team the way the NBA is set up for teams to be successful now. It's all about drafting and developing players at this point. It's not about signing big-name free agents. So this kind of benefits Washington a lot better.
Okay. The next question is on the board. I know the college basketball season. I know the college basketball is in the middle of the season. Are any players the Wizards are looking at eligible for the draft?
Well, there's countless options at this point, and hopefully, since you're the Wizards and you hope to be picking at the top of this draft, the top guys that everybody has on the boards, number 1 through 3 right now. Whether no order seems to be wrong at this point between Cameron Boozer, AJ DeBonsa, and Darren Peterson. If I had to give my say on it right now, I think Darren Peterson would be number 1 on my board just because watching him make the game look so easy against Baylor a couple nights ago was so impressive. His ability to get 2 feet in the lane, to break down the defense and score at will, super impressive. But Boozer looks like a guy that commands double teams all the time, but he still dominates anyway for Duke. So that AJ DeBonsa, a physical freak. He's athletic. He can do everything. He can take over a basketball game. If you land a pick in the top 3 of this draft, I think you're going to be golden. You're going to get a guy that's going to be a real buildable piece, if not a superstar, going forward. But then there's also Caleb Wilson from North Carolina that a lot of people are high on right now as well as a potential guy that could go in the top 3 of this draft, could go number 4. Super athletic, high-flying dunker. There's a lot to look forward to. There's also some really talented point guard options that I could get into as well.
Oh, well, I mean, this is the Wizards, and it seems like, we land outside of where we need to be. So you're saying if they continue to do what they're supposed to do, which is land that bottom 4, the highest they can go is, did you say 8 or 5?
So it just depends where they finish. They finish with the worst record, the highest they could go is 5. If they finish the second worst, 6, 7, and then 4 is where it gets to 8. That's why finishing bottom 4 is paramount because you can't go below 8. That's all that matters is you can't go below 8. Finishing bottom 4 is the only thing that guarantees it. They could finish 8th or 9th or 10th and still pick better than 8th. The Dallas Mavericks picked 1st, and they were the last team in the lottery last year. So that just tells you the lottery system is unforgiving.
It's rigged.
It's just, I don't know if I'd say it's rigged, but it's flawed for sure.
I'll
Because,
say it because Washington, we get the number one pick when there's Kwame Brown, but we
but
missed out on our Kobe Bryant.
hear
We
me
did
out
Lance
though.
Charles. We did Lance Charles with the number 2 pick, and that was an unexpected pick as well.
Yeah, but Victor Wembanyama was number one.
I mean, we weren't going to get Victor.
Hear me out though, Toothpick. The reason I wouldn't say it's rigged and I'd say it's flawed is because if you look at the parameters of the way the lottery works, okay, if you finish in bottom 3, that means all 3 of those teams have a 14% chance of picking first overall. So they go, okay, like we have tied for the highest odds to get the first pick. But the kicker is you also have like a 50% chance of falling to the worst pick you possibly could get, which I don't think makes any sense. If you're the second worst team in the NBA, why do you have the highest odds of falling to the worst pick you can have in that situation? It's just it's a
you're
flawed
right.
system that punishes teams that finish at the bottom because they want to promote teams to not tank.
Yeah, it's flawed. If you want teams to get better, allow them to draft. I like the way that the NFL does it. The worst teams draft first, so that best player is absolutely going to the worst team to help them get better. A league that thrives off of parity. When you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
right.
all it's if you want to blame anybody, it's Hakeem Olajuwon's fault.
Oh, man.
That that's that
What a team
that
did.
that that's the reason it exists because Houston tanked so hard one year to get him, and then the NBA was like, "Nah, we can't have people doing this."
And it just got worse. All right. So, Ben, man, we really appreciate you. I know that you got to go get ready for bed. You guys are up early in the morning, and so do I. I have to get up at midnight tonight. So, um, yeah, we thank you for your time, man. We look forward to checking back in with you later on during the season. So yeah,
Awesome, appreciate you guys as always.
Thank
It's a
you, Ben.
blast
Thank you
coming
for
on
all the
here.
information. Great information, Ben, as always.
thanks.
Thank you
Thanks for
guys. Have a
joining
good
me.
one.
Again, you can see Ben Strober on the Locked On Wizards podcast, as well as check him out on the Junkies. He gives up Wizards updates there. Real good guy. Um, they call him Unfunny Ben on the Sports Junkies. Okay, Al, we had what is it, 4 games this week, NFL. So let's go around the NFL real fast. Okay, Al, let's start with the Saturday games, man. Let's start with the Saturday games. What did you like? What did you not like, Al?
All right, the Saturday games. What I didn't like Josh Allen, man, being so reckless with the ball. That was my team to make. I was on board with Buffalo, of course. That's my boy, and I'm definitely biased because I'm disappointed in my man Sean losing his job. But I think Ben, if you just make 2 turnovers, you win the game by a touchdown.
Yeah.
You make 5. And Ben had and Josh is responsible for 4 of those. And I just wonder if it's like a Lamar situation, man. And I know this is not about the person of the game, but just behind the scenes. Have they said if Lamar wanted to keep Harbaugh,
Yeah.
that Shotty would have kept Harbaugh. And I wonder if that's the same thing. If Josh Allen wanted to keep McDermott, does he have to say with Paguna, the owner, to keep him and not promote Billy B? But it just shows you how, man, it just, like I said, when it's saying the better team didn't win it, the better team didn't win today, that Buffalo showed that they were definitely the better team. Even though Bo Nix had a very good game that day.
Yeah.
Buffalo
And
played
his unexplained injury.
that's another thing. I mean, and that's kind of adds salt to the wound. You lose to him, but he broke his leg, and then you got Stidham going in to face New England against them. I mean, it's like if you're gonna beat us, at least go in there full strength, or let us go in there and so it's a competitive game, and you're not fighting with Josh Stidham. So that definitely disappointed me. The Rams game.
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's stay on Saturday.
That
You got
was
the
Saturday.
49ers and the
I'm sorry,
Seahawks.
the 49ers and Seahawks is kind of what I thought. I mean,
Oh my God.
The 49ers deserve to be there because they beat Philadelphia. But I mean, hats off to Kyle Shanahan too, man. I mean, once again, proven to be one of the best coaches in the NFL every year in regards to, doing it with smoke and mirrors, man. I mean, the fact that they even got that far, I think was kudos to him being a great coach. But I mean, like I said, Seattle rested. The first play of that game kind of set the tone
Yeah.
for the game.
Yeah, the kickoff.
Only kick off, you run it back, and you're just fighting downhill. That's a team that can't be fighting uphill. They need to be fighting downhill because they need the momentum on their side and not be going in their face. So on their back, should I say, and not in their face. So, yeah, I mean, I thought that game would be. I think I picked the under for that game. I'm thinking our picks, but I thought it would be something like 35-6, 35 to. I didn't see San Francisco doing a lot, and I thought.
Well, I went with San Fran plus the points right there, and I said I didn't like the line from the beginning, and it proved that Seattle. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think that the Sam Darnold injury had a little bit to do with it.
Where did that come from anyway? But go ahead.
It was weird, but and then I thought about it. I was like, man, he won't have to do too much if they get that ball out of his hand on time and if they run the ball. So and then let that defense do what it does.
Familiarity helped, but at that point, you got a team that's been playing for several weeks straight against a team that's the better roster and technically the better team, as proven by the games they had played. And like I said, I just thought San Francisco was fighting an uphill battle to even make it close. And truthfully, for the sake of the league, I think it was better for Seattle to win that game anyway. I mean, they were the healthier, better team that would give you the better game. And like I said, coming into this week, and the good thing is, not to jump ahead, we get what we wanted anyway. A rematch of that terrific Thursday night game from about 2 weeks ago. So
a couple of weeks ago. All right, now on to our Sunday game. You got the Patriots and the Texans. And can you please explain to us what Dak Prescott was doing impersonating CJ Stroud? I'm just saying.
See, man, you're wrong for that, man. You're wrong.
According to John, there's an investigation as to why, Dak Prescott was impersonating CJ Stroud.
Let me just say this. I told you, CJ Stroud is the question and the problem. The best quarterback in Texas, I've been telling y'all for years, is Dak Prescott. You all have been trying to
wait. No, I have been a Dak Prescott supporter, as many of you will say.
You and some of your compadres have been trying to say.
I have been saying that Dak Prescott needs wide receivers. He needs wide receivers. So the quarterback is the most dependent position on the field. You need the offensive line to do what they do. You need the running backs to do what they do, to run, to catch, and to block. And you need the wide receivers to be able to get open. Ask Josh Allen.
But but let's get to the game. 11 turnovers, man. In
2 weeks.
11 turnovers?
Yeah. That you are the problem.
I mean, come on. You think about this defense and how you're letting this team down. 11 turnovers, and you go 1-1.
Yeah.
And technically, like I said, truly, if you didn't just throw up on yourself in the second half, they were in that game.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the other question was, why did he get pulled? Why didn't he get pulled? Obviously, he's stinking the joint up. Why do you not pull him?
I'm not going to question D'Amico Ryan with that because he knows a lot more than I do. But I say this to say he played better in the second half than he did in the first. But my thing is, you got everything you could hope out. That defense gave you everything you could possibly want. The turnovers, forcing, and it wasn't. I mean, you had untimely turnovers by marks, fumbles, and things along those lines. It's just if you go to your backup then pick, you can't go back to your coach.
Wait. But this is not baseball, right? You can pull them out for a series or two.
No, pick. Right? Not in football.
Yes, you can.
You don't pull a quarterback for a series or two.
You can.
If it's your starter, he's playing that bad.
Come sit with me for a second.
Okay. Well, you show me a coach that's done that.
In the first half, you would not have set him on the sideline for a series.
I'm just saying, if you pull him and your backup plays better, you can't go back. And now you set your team back. Now, if you do win that game,
if you had won that game, what CJ Stroud showed you the last 2 weeks is that he's a turnover machine. Yes. With that great defense, why not go to my starter and just ask my starter to be careful with the football?
I think, but I think part of the reason that they were giving him a handicap from this regards. They were handicapped because he didn't have Nico Collins and he didn't have the Dalton. I think Dalton, the tight end. I can't think of his other thing. Dalton Schultz or whatever his name be. They were saying he was already working behind the gun, and that's so they were giving him a built-in excuse for not being able to play bad, even though he was, I think, 3-0 without Nico Collins for that year. I just think CJ's in his mind, man. I don't know what's happened.
He got to get back to that rookie season. He's
Well,
got to get back
I don't
to.
know. You can't keep chasing. That's the problem. He's trying to chase that rookie season, and I don't think. I mean, I know Slowick left last year.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So he doesn't have his offensive coordinator from the year before. But CJ has regressed more than any quarterback ever. CJ had a year that rivaled Jake Daniels' year last year.
Jaden's year was better.
Yeah,
Jaden's year was better than CJ.
but it rivaled that year.
Yeah.
Up to Jaden's year. CJ had probably the best rookie season of any rookie quarterback in the last 20, 30 years easily. So I mean, what's happened? What did he? I mean, he didn't stop he didn't stop knowing how to be a quarterback. What has stopped in his progression that he's turning the ball over, seemed to be chased? And I don't know. I don't know if you saw what I saw, but I saw a very timid quarterback.
It's the offensive line. It's got to be. It's got to be the offensive line.
You can't tell me solid for this reason. They gave you all Larry Tunsil. You don't give away your Pro Bowl left tackle if you say and then tell me you got offensive line problems. That doesn't make any sense.
They did it, and I'm grateful that they did. I mean, they got a king's ransom in draft picks. With they gave us a little discount double check with giving us like a fifth or something back. But we're not talking about the team that won this game, which is the New England Patriots and Mike Vrabel and the excellent job that he's done. You can only play the schedule that you are given. That's all you can do.
100%.
And when you get to the playoffs, you got to play the people that are in front of you. And I think that the Patriots are doing a great job. They're not asking Drake May to go out there and be Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady. They're just asking him to go out there and let your weapons do the job for you, right? Let the running game do its job. Let the tight ends catch the ball. They're not asking him to go, play Superman, but when the time comes to make a play here and there.
I'm becoming a Drake May fan. I have to admit that. We'll see. I've always been a Drake May fan. I used to tease you all, telling you last year that he was the best quarterback in that draft class, and think something and teasing you all. My words may have been prophetic because he's looking like potentially the best quarterback in that draft class. Now, Caleb can be the most exciting, but consistently a winner and doing the simple things right. My problem with Caleb is he misses too many layups. Drake makes the layups, and he can still make the big shot when needed, and he's more consistent. I think as a quarterback, play in and play out than Caleb has been. But so I'm becoming a Drake May fan.
Remind me to say something about the 2024 draft class once we finish this up, okay? All right. So our last game we had, and by the way, this weekend was great. We had overtime. We had overtime games.
2 overtime games. Yes.
Yeah, throughout the whole thing. For these guys to get to the championship, the conference championship, which is one game away from the Super Bowl. And at this point in time, the way that some of these games are going to end, is going to be some heartbreaks. There's going to be some tears. There's going to be some things of that nature. The Rams and the Bears. Caleb Williams, he's been on a roller coaster. He was on a roller coaster the week before versus the Green Bay Packers. He's on another roller coaster versus the Rams here. And you saw the more steadier quarterback in Matthew Stafford come back and win this game.
We should have better quarterback. Don't just call him steady. He's the better quarterback.
He's steady. He's seen it. He's seen a lot of it, right? And you can't fool him with tricking him, trying to change the defense up or change the picture or muddy the picture on him. He knows what he's doing. And then the fact that he has Puka Nacua, which is a cheat code, and Devontae Adams. Come on, man.
Yeah. And you saw that. I mean, like I said, my problem with the Rams is not so much this game, but they're playing down. You know what I'm saying? They relied so much on their offense to just bail them out and almost make everybody's All-American look like everybody's all American in Matthew Stafford. I mean, they're asking this guy. I mean, I guess that maybe, and he's making the case. I think he's far head and shoulders above for the MVP of the league.
No, I think it's the guy that you said you're a fan of. I think it's Drake May. I
The
think
numbers
it's
say
Drake
different.
May.
The numbers say different. Pick. We can put a we'll put some chicken wings and mumbo bet on the side. You can have
Okay.
Drake May. I'll have Matthew Stafford.
Matthew
And
Stafford.
and one of you'll owe me some ribs when I come to Texas, and I'll owe you some wings when you come back to DC.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
I like it.
That's the bet. But I just think, man, he's proven to be head and shoulders the best quarterback in the league this year, and he's playing like it. Even at this 15th year, I think it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, and they showed a stat the other day. There's no quarterbacks in the top 15 highest paid quarterbacks left in the playoffs.
None.
So
everybody thinks that your quarterback has to be the highest paid player. You got to give him a boatload of money. But guess what? The one thing that you're forgetting about is that quarterback needs help.
Yeah.
They absolutely need help. They can't throw the ball, catch the ball, and run the ball, all of that, and still be the best player on the field. You can't. This game has 11 players on offense, 11 players on defense, and not to even mention special teams that you have to fill out a complete roster. So you can't pay your quarterback and say he'll fix everything.
Well, Cuzzo said, answer Cuzzo's question. Stafford is a great quarterback, but the game came into one bad play. Caleb had the Bears moving. Let me say this, Cuzzo. I would almost agree with that statement, but the game came down. They never even in that game if Caleb doesn't make that incredible 4th down and 5 throw at the end of the game for the last touchdown. So yeah, that he had the momentum and moving down the field, and that one interception killed him. Hey, but that one they don't get to that play, or they don't get to that overtime without Caleb making one of the greatest throws I've ever seen live, but in my football watching career in the clutch situation. So you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, I get it. Cuzzo wants in on that bet too. He says, "Bet me as well. I'll see you some Buckeyes if I
bet, cuz bet." I'm good, baby. Thank you. Bet, cuz you can have that. I got two order ribs coming, baby. I want baby backs from you, and I'll do St. Louis from Cuzzo. I want them all, baby.
I got you. Okay, listen. Now, Al, here's what I had to say about the 2024 class. All right. You have, Bo Nix should be playing ankle problems
right.
versus Drake May. We just had Caleb go 1-1 in the playoffs. Right. Last year we had Jaden Daniels go 2-1 in the playoffs. Bo Nix is now 1-1 in the playoffs as well. This 2024 draft class of QBs is coming. And the bad part about it is Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they are breathing down y'all necks on both sides of. I mean, you can't
forget about don't forget about Sunshine now. Sunshine might have finally figured it out too.
Sunshine might have figured it out, right? We're talking about oh my
Jacksonville.
God. Jacksonville. Yeah, we're talking about Trevor Lawrence. We're talking about Trevor Lawrence there. Listen, my question to you, Al, is not Drake is 2-0. Not which one of these quarterbacks will win a Super Bowl. But my question to you is the 2024 class, and you guys tell me in the chat as well, of the 2024 class of QBs. I'm talking about Caleb, Jaden, Drake May, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, and who was the last one?
I think JJ was. Wasn't he?
JJ, no, I thought Bo Nix was the last one. Bo Nix was the last one. Exactly. All right, out of those QBs, which one of them will not win the Super Bowl?
JD5. That's an easy question. JD5.
The hate is real. That's
an easy question. Oh man, I thought you were going to say which one had the best. Man, JD5.
Which one will not win a Super Bowl? And
JD5 and JJ McCarthy. Then he starts for the J. You ain't winning that. You ain't getting the chip.
Then let's go to the other side of that. Out of that class, which one do you feel will win the most Super Bowls?
Ooh. Well, Drake has an early start potentially.
He may get there first.
I know he has early
So you
start.
think that if the New England gets there,
I
if you think New England gets there,
I think they get. I think that Denver. I don't. I think they Mike Vrabel and all kudos to Sean Payton. I say he's a great coach, but I don't think Jarrett Stidham. That defense can hold you up well.
yeah,
But can they put the on? See, the problem for Denver is I think Drake May's bad game came last week, and he's played against two very good defenses to get here in the Chargers and the Houston.
The Chargers defense is not great.
It was still statistically top 5 though. It was still top 5 statistically. I know you might not have been impressed with it, but statistically, it was still top 5. And we both know.
And then on top of that, then you have a Justin Herbert that. He gets into the playoffs and he just folds. He folds like a lawn chair.
Does he fold or were they folding him? Because New England had something to do with it as well. But I say they're being handed a potential added easier path to the Super Bowl. And Super Bowl Sunday, all you gotta do is play your best. Is have everything
one day,
forward. And you do have the Sam Darnold effect. Big game effect. Do you trust Sam Darnold in the big game or Drake May?
I'm gonna tell you right now, if Seattle gets there, I'm rolling with Sam.
And you're gonna be rolling down the hill trying to catch up.
Right now, I am. You are looking probably at the biggest Sam Darnold fan on the planet, and why is because I really want to see this narrative about Sam Darnold choking and seeing ghosts. I really want to see because people they piled on him so bad, man. They piled on Sam so bad that I just want to see him just, break through.
You see, Cuzzo said 6 sacks ain't folding. Like I'm telling you, New England had something to do with Herbert looking bad. And he said, I'm going to go with JJ. JJ McCarthy?
Go with JJ as the one that's not winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say. Okay, yeah, I forgot the question. I'm going with JD. You go with JJ.
Okay, who's winning the most? Who are you going with?
Who's winning the most Super Bowls in that class? Oh man, the most could be one. I mean, it's no guarantee that they'll get 2, but I think. Let me set my bias aside. Excuse me. I got to go with Drake. Caleb. I think Caleb has the potential. That Caleb of the 3 to win the most because he has the coach in place already. I think Ben's going to keep knocking on the door. Now, let me say this. Injuries. Now, Caleb is a durable quarterback. He has a durable body and a durable quarterback. He's been durable most of his career. And the Bears could potentially look like the Commanders next year because they were the Commanders of this year. They were the 2025 Commanders.
Okay, yeah, with the last minute game wins. Yeah,
the worst to first type or worst to almost first situation and all those things. So I'm gonna wait and see with them as well. But I like what they have. They seem to have the coach. They seem to definitely Caleb. I've always thought they had the quarterback, but Caleb needs to stop missing the layups. When he stops missing the layups and combine the last minute game heroics with just the simple first and second down completions, he'll be head and heels above everybody else in that draft keeper. And John, I gotta disagree. I know he's a head case in some regards, but I think the kid's a winner, and I'm going to root for him because he's a local kid.
All right, so let me tell you, the QB that I think is not winning a Super Bowl is JJ McCarthy as well.
Phoenix, but yeah.
I like what Atlanta has done. I like with the fact that they have talent all over the field. Now they're probably going to lose Kyle Pitts. They're probably going to lose Kyle Pitts, but their defense.
They should lose Kyle Pitts. Who cares? Say the only one that likes Kyle Pitts.
Their defense is coming along, and we say that defense travels, right?
Yep.
And we're not asking the quarterback to do so much because you're still putting talent around them. I think that Michael Penix could be in the running for the player that does win the most. I think
Michael Penix.
I believe so. He's
Atlanta.
Yes, he over his career. I don't know if his whole career is going to be in Atlanta, but we know that kid has a mind.
Sam Darnold hopeful again. See, that's what it is. You think he got a little Sam Darnold.
Oh, listen, listen, people saying, "Oh, I see what you're saying, John." It just takes
Thank you, John. That's the first
one
thing
team
John has
to
said
believe,
right the whole time
one
I'm
team
on
to
this show.
believe that kid, if I can keep him upright, if I can, the same thing we're saying about Jaden, if we can keep him upright, we know that he has the mind for it. It just takes the right offensive coordinator, because that's what it does. It takes.
What is history a good teller of, Big? Potentially the future. Your history of how you've played usually predicts how you particularly might play.
Okay. So I
Injuries has followed
tried
him
to
this
keep
whole.
my bias out of it. I tried to keep my bias out of it, and I'm going to do my best. But what we say about all of these players, the best players go to the worst teams in the worst situation. But when you get the
Michael
right,
Penix didn't know.
when he did not, but when you get the right, structure around these players, you can see their full potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying is it
But
just takes the right.
sometimes you create your environment.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do.
That's my thing. I think Drake May is perfect. Is a perfect example of what you just said. The right coach, the right environment. I think if Drake May is in the Jets, if is playing for the Jets, I don't think he's potentially. He's a
Nobody,
but he's not what he is right now. He's in a
nobody needs to be put into. And I can't even say that the Jets organization is bad. They may have a
It
bad
is.
owner, but
You can say it. It's the truth.
what about Glenn up there right now?
Man,
You know what I'm
I feel
saying?
bad for AG. I feel bad for AG. He's gonna get Robert Saleh. He's gonna be back. He's gonna have to go to get him to be on number decoy. He's gonna be out of there flying fast. They wanted to get rid of him this year, but they sold it. They gave away all his players for all those draft picks. And I was gonna tell you, the Jets, I think they're like doomed. I mean, they need to go repent or something. They need to go do something, man. They need to go do some type of ritual to get the hex off of them. The Jets are doomed. And AG is going to go down with them. And loyalty, being a former Jet, and that whole thing is a good story, but they're done. They're done.
Yeah. All right, Al, you got a foursome for us?
Well, I mean, my foursome is a little. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of games, man. My foursome from the 4 games that we had. Well, I'm going to add one. I'm gonna pull one out. I'm gonna go ahead and give my man Fernando Mendoza.
Okay.
I'm gonna welcome him. He's finally finished this. I'm gonna welcome the Heisman winner.
Yeah.
I don't usually keep this NFL games, but I have to say kudos to and congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers on a
that run showed some
fantastic season. I mean, the whole season. I mean, I'm not going to limit just the playoff run. They have showed what toughness, grit, and just real football looks like, man. I mean, granted, you don't always have to have the 5-star guys, but what you have is have a 5-star guys with 5-star hearts and 5-star work ethics, and that's what they've shown wins more games than just having altitude. So, man, Fernando Mendoza is one of my welcome guys, and then my next guy is Drake May, because Drake May, I mean, 3 turnovers, but he made the plays when it counted against the number 1 defense in the league by far, a defense that everybody knew could take a championship defense that unfortunately didn't have a high school quarterback to lead them, because CJ is just horrendous. My next guy is Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Everybody's All-American. I mean, all you got.
You're All-American.
Everybody's All-American.
I'm sorry. I'm going with Drake May. You're
everybody's All-American, man.
No. Al's All-American.
Al's All-American. And then my next guy is your guy. I mean, I'm gonna give. I haven't Shaheed for your team, your guys' team. Shaheed, man, you start off at the pace in the first game with a opening kick return. I need you and Al's foursome. So that's my foursome. I got a college guy. I got a good mix this year. I have a lot this weekend. I have a lot of games. I got Fernando, Shaheed, my All-American, Stafford, and your guy Drake May.
Okay. I like it. I like it, Al. I'm a little disappointed that that Will Anderson and
they didn't win. You don't win the criteria.
I get it. I'm just saying, I'm a little disappointed, that team doesn't get to play again this week, because Dak Prescott decided to put on the number 7 jersey.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. So, hey, join us on Saturday where we will make our picks. We'll make our picks for conference championship weekend, and I think we may be doing a live stream. We'll talk about it in the chat. We'll be doing a live stream probably Sunday, and then come Super Bowl. No, we're not doing a live stream, but we will be enjoying Super Bowl parties just like everybody else.
Absolutely.
And so this may be our last live stream for a while, but we'll continue to hit you guys up on Tuesdays and Saturdays and talking about everything that you guys want to talk about as far as when it comes to sports, the NFL, basketball, football, so forth on and down the line. Man, thank you all for joining us and hanging in there with us tonight. Thank you to CWall for coming through, Bowie TV's own, and Ben Strober. Don't forget to check these guys out on their socials, as well as their work that they're doing, and thank them for their time. On next Tuesday, I gotta see who we have coming real quick. On next Tuesday, we have next Tuesday we have David Harrison joining us. Yeah, DH will be with us, and we have Lou Holder.
My man, Lou gonna fuss me out. I'm already
he is. So
we ain't played no golf in a whole year and a half, and I've been promising this man around. So I'm gonna call myself out early that I owe Lou around, and I promise you, I know he's gonna remind me. He's gonna talk bad about me, but I'm gonna be apologetic as I can be, because he's absolutely right. We're supposed to play golf by May, and we did not make it, but we're going to get it in this year for sure. I'm going to make that. That's a promise. I'm making to Lou and myself and to the chat. So, and we're going to post around on the show.
All right. I see Bruce already hit us with a hail to the W. Yeah. So, shouts out to my son, United States Air Force.
He was doing good to the hell. I was actually going to post his ranking, because I agree with his ranking. He was removing his bias, and then he put a hail to the W. Man, just like, you know how to mess up a good thing, Bruce. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Man, listen, you jump right in there. But I'm sorry, CWall's chatting with me right now. So she made me lose my train of thought. Man, let's hold on to these Washington Commanders news and notes. Let's see what they do with this coaching staff. I think CWall hit on something that I didn't get to recap earlier, which is what she was saying was we got to get these coordinators positions right and figure out what our identity is going to be, and then they can go after the players that they want to absolutely set the standard for what they want to be. That was her point, and what she was saying to us earlier today is coaches first, get your staff locked down, and you can start to look at your free agencies and your draft picks, and then you can put it all on the field and get your people in there on time. So I hope I got that out correctly for you, CWall. Shouts out to my son, United States Air Force. First String Podcast, second to none. Come get some. Say it says go Dogs. I say raise hell.
How about them?